Hey guys, it's Kelsey from roughandtumblefarmhouse.com, and I thought you guys deserved an update video. Questions like, where have you been? What are you doing? What is going on? Because it has been a little over a month since I have gotten a post out, and there are many good reasons why. So I'm going to tell you about that, and then we're going to take a little walk around the farm. I'll show you some goals we have for the year, and very excitingly, some goals we have already achieved for this year. I've recorded this video, I think, like 3 different times, and then something changes or I get something done. It's like, oh, we should probably start over from scratch and just start the video from the beginning. So this is the one that's gonna be published. You will be watching this one where I'll be giving you the updates on the farm. I'm Kelsey from roughandtumblefarmhouse.com, where every single week I share stories about farming, family food, and fortitude here in our 5-acre homestead in northern Minnesota. Okay, so first question, where have I been? What is going on? pretty easy, and a question I understand because I'm usually pretty consistent with posting. See, it is kind of mid-May right now, so it started after Easter. We have just had a really tough time of things. So when we got home from Easter, so that's what, the second weekend in April, I think. We got home from that and we had some flooding in our basement because of how quickly we had a ton of snow. Snow was melting super fast. We had water in one part of our basement we had to deal with. And then we had water in another part of our basement because my washing machine, something's up with the drainage on that, and every once in a while it backs up, but it backed up a ton. So our entire downstairs bathroom was flooded, like a couple inches of water from our washing machine having issues. So it was those two things right away, water in the basement all over the place. And then also right when we got home, our dog Sunny got super sick. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably followed that. She had a really bad reaction to one of her vaccines she got. And basically her immune system started attacking itself. So she had to be at the vet overnight on fluids. She very nearly had to go to Fargo, which is like the next biggest kind of medical town, to get a blood transfusion. And so she is still recovering. She has to be on prednisone, which if you've ever had your animals on that before, it's total pain because it stimulates their appetite a lot, makes them have to pee a lot, makes them drink a lot, makes them just kind of, it's a steroid, so it just kind of makes them like juiced up and crazy, which is really obnoxious and just a whole thing to deal with. So, and we'll loop back around to that in a little bit. So basement flooded in multiple places, dog nearly died, and that was an ongoing thing where every week we still have to take her in to get her blood levels checked. And then my 1-year-old, she took a tumble off of a step. If I had been just a half second faster, and she sliced her head open on a flower pot, and she had to go for stitches at like 8:30 at night. We had to take her about a half hour away so she could get stitches. And then a few days after that, we got so sick, honestly, probably as sick as I have ever been in my life, with a really bad stomach bug. And it was me and my 1-year-old that got it the worst. It was so bad. Poor thing. She was just, eventually she just was laying on a towel next to me in bed in her diaper, and like twice an hour, if not more, I'd have to nudge her dad, like, she's sick, you've gotten sick again. Bring a fresh towel, bring a we literally went through every single towel in our house, and then even started going through like my husband's t-shirts. And then so she would be sick, and then I would have to go be sick myself, so my husband would have to take her, and then she'd wake up because I wasn't there. It was just so awful. And it was well over a week before the bug like cleared the kids, because Jane, my oldest, she was sick in a different way. But so that took a really long time for my youngest to be like totally through it, and for me to be through it. And the bummer, but also kind of exciting to share, is that I never really felt like I got over the flu, because then I kicked into high gear morning sickness. So ta-da, we are expecting our 3rd baby in December, which we're really excited about. But first trimesters, as a lot of women know, can be very rough. And this one was going okay until I had the flu, and then it just absolutely took it out of me in a way. I literally had to like message my sister-in-law and ask her to come take care of my kids so I could just rest, because I've never been so sick. And so then it just felt like the flu never left. So I've been dealing with just awful morning sickness. Just, if you've never had to deal with morning sickness, just imagine not like your worst hangover, but a hangover where you're just like, oh, I just want to like lay on the couch and watch TV all day, like that. Because everything, you still have kids and a farm to take care of and other things. So that's what I have been dealing with, is morning sickness pretty badly. And then on top of that, so Sunny, because she's on this prednisone, her appetite's really stimulated, so she's eating all kinds of crazy weird stuff, like dead things. And then I'm gonna try and say this without making myself sick. I'm sure I get a lot of views though throwing up on YouTube. So then she throws it up in the house, and then my husband has been traveling a lot for work, so it's just me. So I have to take care of, as I'm already feeling like I could throw up at any minute, dealing with her being sick. And then she also has potty accidents at night now. We've been trying to keep her isolated, like at a spot in the night, because she drinks so much, and it's in that steroid stimulates that. So then I'm having to deal with cleaning that up all the time. Is that all the things? No, there's more things. And then our dishwasher broke down, which of course isn't the end of the world, but when you're going, you know, you got kids and a lot of dishes, like not having your dishwasher is huge. And so I was able to pull that out and repair what was broken on it. But of course, when I like pushed it back in, the like tube in it shoved down and broke a ceiling panel in the basement. So I had to clean that up and replace that. And then now currently our dryer isn't working. So thank God it's summer because I can line dry stuff. I thought it was just the heating element because it's just not getting hot, but I took it apart and the heating coil looks just fine, which I've never been so disappointed to see like a perfectly functioning heating coil in my life, because that's like a really easy thing to just pop a new one on there. But that's not the issue. So we are without, so you might be able to hear my kids and grandma's visiting right now. But so my dryer's not working. So of course that, I like line drying stuff. I do. I like, you know, like towels and blankets, sweat, like bigger things. But when you have a 3-year-old and a 1.5-year-old and you have all these tiny little shirts and things you're having to hang up, it takes a million years. Not that it's not doable. I know a lot of people do it all the time, but and then on top of that, my husband has a very demanding job. And during this whole stretch, there was literally like 2 solid weeks where he was just gone. So all these things, and there's just like little old me and the 2 kids and the farm. And of course it's spring. So it has been just a hell of a month and a half. So I have not gotten a blog post out. The barn quilt course, which was supposed to go live kind of like mid-April, just kept getting pushed back as like another thing came up and another thing came up and another thing came up. It's like, once I get through this minor emergency, I'll have the time. And then it hasn't ended. So who knows what the next thing is going to be. I'm kind of like gun shy right now, where I'm like, it could be anything. It's just going to burst into flames. So it has been wild. So that is why you have not seen me, that whole list of things. So that has all happened in the last, 6 weeks, I think? 5 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that. So I've been down and out. So, but I'm hoping now, you know, I'm switching up some prenatal stuff I'm taking. I'm going to try and get iron a different way. This is probably way more information than you want, but so I'm hoping that'll help with the nausea somewhat, because iron's really not great for nausea. So I'm hoping if I kind of, so let me say right now that you're probably going to notice on this whole tour, the theme is mostly, as it kind of similarly was last year, was to just like reduce and simplify and fortify is kind of the plan. If it's not something that I love to deal with, I'm trying to get rid of it or not do it, because I do not have the time or the mental space for a lot of stuff right now. So we're just trying to make it simple and beautiful and functional. That's what we're trying to make happen. Okay, so right here, which has been a goat paddock before, and is also last year's where we grew out kale. You can kind of see these big tall guys in there. We grew out kale for seed from my Fred & Seed company last year, which was really neat. But this year I'm just gonna put a little pumpkin patch in there. It's, as you can see, not the best spot. They use this as a garden for a garden. And by they, I mean the people who lived here like 5 years ago before we did, because it gets a lot of shade from these trees, but it definitely has enough of a patch of good sun for growing some pumpkins. So we had talked about actually growing plants for seed there again this year. It's pretty incredible. You can grow thousands of dollars worth of seed in a patch, even that size. But it's a little bit stressful because if something happens to the plants, the seed company is out thousands of dollars worth of seed, and you are the one who's responsible for it. So that's something I would love to do again. But this year I just need something that is low stress. So I am just gonna be, pumpkin patch. And then we'll take down all the kind of fencing and stuff that's around there, because it's all really ramshackle, needs to go anyway. Just clean that up, clean that out, and just have some pumpkins. Just something nice and easy. Over here you can see our bachelor pad, the goats. So I have been trying to sell these suckers, at least the Nigerian dwarfs, and the goat market is just really rough right now. It's a total bummer. We have some really good, there's one of them right there. Poirot is his name because he has a little tiny mustache. They're really good goats. Their moms have their Milk Star. They're registered. We bought them for our mini Nubian breeding program. And then I decided to sell all my goats last year because once again, I was like, all right, this is too much stuff. We got to whittle down. We got to simplify. But man, I mean, they're not crazy expensive goats, but they're easily worth, about $500. And I can't sell those boys for even $300 right now, which is really frustrating that the market's the way it is. But that was another reason why I got out of goats. And then we do have 2 Nubians left over from my dairy herd. And those 2 boys they had a rough winter. The Nigerians really came out looking just fine. Those other 2 boys are kind of scrawny, a little scrappy. So I don't have them listed anywhere yet because I don't want to sell an animal I'm not proud to sell. And right now they just need some more weight on them, some better conditions. And here as the weather is warm, they're going to be able to do a lot better. So they will be for sale eventually. One's just a wether and the other is a buck who would be good for breeding. So hopefully we can get all the goats sold. Right here is a goal already met for the year, and that is to get bees. So we do have 2 colonies here, and I'm a little bit concerned. I'm going to be doing my first hive check tomorrow. A little concerned my colony to the right just seems to be a little less active than the one on the left. I'm going to open up their bottom here soon so they have more access, to get in and out of there. But it definitely just seemed a little less vivacious than the one on the left. So we'll just do a check and see how they're doing. But so I just, put up a little bit of decoration for them and stuff. Not that they care, but I've been wanting bees for a little over a decade. And so it's really exciting to have them here. So that's something you can look forward to this year on the blog is I did take a beekeeping course, beekeeping in northern climates, which if you live anywhere in a northern climate, I highly, highly recommend it. It's a fantastic course. If you live in, Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota, maybe even like Maine, those sort of places. It is a fabulous, fabulous class. And you get access to it for 2 years, which is really nice. And yeah, so I will be giving updates on the bees and what I'm doing throughout the season. But of course I am a very novice beekeeper, but everything I share and everything I'm doing is coming from what I was taught by the professors in that course. So hopefully it can be of value to other beekeepers. Little Red Barn, that is one of my favorite buildings on the farm, was of course going to be kind of like a kidding shed over there for goats, but it's a little messy in here right now, but sorry, it's dark. But so this has turned into the tack room / little horse hangout area. When we bought the place, it came with all the horse decor. So it just kind of makes sense that this is where we keep the tack and everything for the horses. So nothing too exciting here. Again, this is a space that probably will never become what I want it to be, a little bit of a she shed in here, but I love this little kind of clubhouse. Let's see, up there's sort of our tack area. All right, and so here, which I'd really like to get some sort of a mural on this door, because it's just like such a big blank canvas. So this is just our garden shed, and also where I'm kind of keeping some of my beekeeping supplies and garden baskets and things like that are in here. So this is some of my garden stuff has collapsed off the shelf, but otherwise it's a pretty straightforward little shed. There's my nuke boxes from when I got the bees. So exciting. So here is the garden, which is not planted yet. It's a little late to be planting. I mean, not really. It's still May 15th is our frost out date. I would have liked to have had my garden in sooner, but I am waiting on my dad. Bless him, is coming in a couple days with a tractor so he can put compost in for me. We have a huge, beautiful pile of compost from the cows. And as you can see, these beds definitely need a lot of soil in them, and the weeds are just going buck wild for now. But so I'll get these cleaned out here and get some in there. You can see in that kind of middle bed, we do have garlic that looks like it's coming up pretty nicely. So I'll be excited to see how that comes along here. We should have scapes before long to harvest, which is nice. And then, sorry, kids are just, I always love hearing them kind of off camera. And here, this scrappy looking section, you can maybe see, is the start of, well, not the start, it is a raspberry patch I'm hoping does well. We also have, you can't really see them, but some strawberries in there as well. And so we planted raspberries. I got 25 plants, and one magical plant over by that orange stick there did survive the goat attack of 2022. So we actually had one bonus raspberry plant. So they're all bare root, but these are a fall bearing one. So if they do well here and get well established, we may yet be able to harvest from them. The strawberries we won't expect to harvest until next year, but the raspberries we could definitely get a harvest yet. So the raspberry patch is actually a goal that in previous videos I had talked about. And by previous videos, I mean videos that I recorded and never actually posted because we kept doing things and changing things. So already the bees, that's a big check mark. The raspberry patch, check. Strawberries, check, which is really nice that we're kind of making some moves already and checking off a lot of things. Next on the agenda is the chicken coop. So here's my chicken coop, which in a previous video I talked about how I did get part of it painted and refreshed a little bit. But the coop this year, I really would like to finish painting at least this front and this side, if nothing else. And I would like to get the last window replaced and get some framing done and fix that one window because I did not install it very well. It was my first time ever putting in a window and it didn't come out great. The second one I put in turned out fine, but not that first one so much. But so yes, just getting those things done on the chicken coop, which again is probably gonna be a thing where I'm like, hey Dad, can you come help me, please? As far as the cows and horses go, the horses are absolutely not a thing of function, just a thing of beauty that I love to have around. So in terms of like profitability or something, there is no plan with the horses. They just are money eaters, but they smell amazing and make me happy to look at. And the girls love them. I got to take Jane, my oldest, the 3.5-year-old, just wanted to come out and visit the horses. So we came out to say hi. And then she asked if she could sit on Chevy, our chestnut horse. And so I was like, sure, you can sit on Chevy. So I put her up there, then she asked if we could giddy up, and I didn't have a halter or anything with, but so I just grabbed like a spare piece of twine and kind of put it on her as a halter and just got to lead my daughter around bareback in the pasture for like 20 minutes. It's like, okay, this is totally worth the cost of having you guys, that, you know, my kids will get to have that experience that they grow up with of, you know, just like riding horses bareback around the pasture. How cool is that? Okay, so the barn, what I would like to do, well, it's really going to depend on what sort of calves the cows have. I'm not going to get into it, but eventually I want to get this cleared out and set up a more, oh, speaking of the cows, I know you girls are in here. What are you doing? What are you doing, babies? So there's Butterscotch on the left and Juneberry Mama on the right. Juneberry is probably going to poop right now, so we're going to go ahead and pan away. Juneberry is actually due to have her calf here on Tuesday, and it is a Saturday. She's always calved within either on her due date or within a day or two of her due date. So I'm excited for that. I'm a little sad for the additional sleep I'm going to be missing, but I'm excited to have fresh raw milk again and get into my cheese making again. It's going to be really exciting. So, and I'm also really wanting to focus on getting better at hard cheeses and just preserving cheeses and better. I've got down soft cheeses pretty well, but just kind of exploring that. And I actually did sign up from, what is the name of that? Moxie Ridge Farm. They have an online cheese making course that I signed up for, and I still haven't actually taken the course, but I'm going to have to shortly here, just to kind of up my cheese making game. Because like I said, all the kind of basic stuff I've mastered, but the more complex stuff I definitely need to work on more. Anyway, as I was saying, this area we have used for like kidding, for penning up goats who are being jerks and escaping all the time. Juneberry also gave birth to Butterscotch in here, but what I would like to do is put in a milk stanchion there kind of against that wall, because in the other room, which is just kind of a storage room right now, would be a great place to have a milk machine, and then I can run the hoses just through a hole in the wall because I have outlets and everything in there so that I can milk. Because if I'm milking 2 cows, 1 cow, it just makes sense to hand milk and wash your equipment. 2 cows, it makes more sense to have a milking machine, which we do have. So with my husband's work schedule and with 2 kids now and everything, I am more likely than not going to have the kids down here in the barn with me. And so trying to keep them safe during milking is incredibly important, obviously. So I'll show you, we had built kind of a milking parlor, milk stall. So my idea had been to bring the cows in here and milk, and then let the kids be out here. Well, I realized I think I have that backwards, especially since I can hook up a milk machine over there to like an actual little milk parlor. So what I'm gonna do is I'm basically gonna lock my kids in a horse stall because I will be milking. Here, let me show you. So I will basically, June will come in through the door there. I will tie her here, milk her. And so my kids will be literally right here in this stall. So we're gonna take down all the stuff we put up and we will just reuse this for making the stanchion over there instead. And so I'm going to basically try and turn this into a kind of clubhouse for my kids, like with a little play kitchen. And I'm gonna kind of rake out the floor, put some straw down, and then one of those like outdoor fake grass rug things. But a play kitchen, some chairs, some twinkle lights. If need be too, I can just bring the extension cord over so they can watch stuff on their iPad in here, but just a place where they can be safe. And I am literally just right there. And if they want to, I figure I can put like a little kind of step stool deck thing for them here so they can watch the whole process if they want to, but so that they will be tucked safely away. So those are the main goals for the farm this year. Let's see, well, getting the patch in, we did that. Bees, got those. So what we still have to do is chicken coop, work on the chicken coop, transition this area into a kid-friendly area. And again, depending on what the cows have. So basically, if Juneberry has a heifer here in the next couple days, I will probably sell Butterscotch, even though it breaks my heart because I know I have a replacement heifer coming up. So I will just milk Juneberry all summer. But if June has a male, has a little bull calf, then I will probably wait and see what Butterscotch has, and then we'll be milking her as well. So, and we'll have to see. Oh my goodness, you got to see this. You tell him, Louisa. It's my little farm girl telling the chickens to get out. Good for her. Anyway, sorry, I completely lost my train of thought because I was talking to my kids. So it's nothing too crazy this year, just trying to improve, reduce a little bit. We did actually have an order in for some Narragansett turkeys. We were splitting with some friends, but as I've just been sick and just trying to keep my head wrapped around everything I have to take care of, I just finally was like, you know what? We're going to cancel those turkeys. So if you couldn't get Narragansett turkeys before, you should be able to get at least 15 now from Mary McMurray if you head on there in July. So that's what's going on here. I'm sorry again, it's been a long time since I have gotten an update out, but I have a whole ton of great ideas and things I want to share this year that I'll be working on here on the homestead. Thank you so much for sticking it out for my little gap. But there's, like I said, a ton that I'm excited to share and still be hopefully a part of your life and your farm or homestead journey as well. Thank you so much for watching. Always appreciate if you like, share, subscribe. It just helps us get found by more people, which makes a huge difference for us. And yeah, we will see you in our next video. Hopefully, by hook or by crook, we will get another video out next week.